Okay, I hope that before you're watching this video that you took a peek at our video about the stress response, the fight, flight, or freeze, because we're going to talk and build a little bit more on the knowledge that's happening there. So today we're going to talk about the strategies that we all learn to employ when we are having a stress response. In particular, we're having a stress response with our partner, our spouse, our kids, the people that we love most. So the first thing that happens is we're having conflict, big or small, right? Loud or quiet, it doesn't really matter, conflict. We have an internalized stress response. And some of us are really keenly aware of that and feel that really big. And sometimes it takes a little bit of work up front to kind of understand what that is and what it looks like for us. But once the stress response happens, based on our life experience, particularly our younger life experience and the environment that we grew up in kind of informed what works best. We didn't end up with these strategies by accident. We ended up with these strategies because they work for us and they have worked for us. And that's really important to understand. No one's strategy is wrong. It's just the strategy that worked best for us in the situation that we were in. We get kind of trained and groomed to do these things. So, two main strategies that adults employ. The first is pursuing. And I am a natural pursuer, so we're going to talk about that first. So pursuing looks like the person who wants to talk about it, and we want to talk about it now. Like, we are all about the, like, let's take 10 minutes to cool off. Like, when we are uncomfortable, when we are stressed out, we want to talk about it, we want to work on it, we want to fix it. We will let you know really quickly that we're not super happy with what's going on. So sometimes that looks like a protest, sometimes that looks like anger, sometimes it looks critical, sometimes it can even look desperate. Like, we are so desperately in need of that connection and to get rid of that stress that we kind of chase the other person. So that's why we call it pursuing. So that is informed by the fight response to stress, right? So I feel really dysregulated and stressed out and anxious because I'm fighting with my husband and I'm uncomfortable. So I'm going to try to fight off that threat, which is that he's disconnecting from me or I'm disconnecting from him. So I lean in, I try to fight, I try to find some traction to find my way back to him. It's really a reach trying to get to him. Other strategy that most people engage with is called withdrawing. And that is informed by the stress response of either freezing or fleeing. So those two kind of go together with withdrawers. So what happens with a withdrawer is that when they get very stressed, especially in interpersonal conflict, they kind of shut down or go away. Like, their strategy, their life experience informed them it's really actually better to be quiet or not say a lot or minimize the situation or move away from the situation because that feels safer, right? So at least I won't make it worse. At least I won't make them yell more, make them more upset. And so it's a strategy that probably developed through a lot of conflict in their household or a huge amount of discomfort and stress around conflict. So what happens in our research, Dr. Sue Johnson's research about emotionally focused therapy tells us that 80% of couples, one person is the pursuer and one person is the withdrawer. And that works, right? It kind of makes sense. If you have two people that are pursuing, you're going to have kind of a high degree of conflict because they're kind of coming at each other all the time. If you have two people that are withdrawing, right, it's kind of hard to get together because they both just kind of avoid conflict and discussion. So 80%, at least that we're able to research, I have a little bit of a theory that if you get two withdrawers, they're probably not ending up in research very often. But anyway, so 80% is our best guess that this is happening. And so what that looks like is, you're getting dinner ready and something is said, right? And so then the pursuer starts talking about it a lot, or getting upset or getting vocal, maybe getting critical. And then the withdrawer just kind of either shuts down or moves away. So the more critical, the more vocal, the more pursuing that partner is, the more that actually activates the anxiety and the stress response of the withdrawer. And the more the withdrawer withdraws and moves away from that pursuer, the more stress response that the pursuer feels. So then they start to pursue harder. And this is how we get trapped in those cycles. We just go back and forth, and we're never able actually to resolve the conflict and get back together.